Oh, God, I will perish, dude. Oh, let's hear what this
about who is now running Venezuela. Can you tell us what the president means when he says, is acting President Jessy Rodriguez in charge? Is she running Venezuela or not?
Well, what the president said is true. The United States of America is running Venezuela. By definition, that's true. Jake, we live in a we live in a world.
We live in a law. Just kidding. We have no laws.
In which you can talk all you want about international niceties and everything else. But we live in a world, in the real world, Jake, that is governed by strength, that is governed by force, that is governed...
Like, him saying that is so... I don't know. I get the same read when I hear, like, Asmongold be like, yeah, we're dominating these people. It's like, bro, you can't even dominate a napkin. Like, what the f*** do you mean we're dominating these people? What are you talking about? You can't even go outside. You get dominated by the sun, motherfucker. What do you mean we're dominating these people? Oh, it's ruled by strength. It's like, no, dude, you are not a part of this equation at all. You will never be impacted by this. Your sons are not going to be in the front lines. And you're doing this for your buddies that are going to make a ton of money. It's this type of like strong posture that I hear from the likes of Stephen Miller. And it's just like, you're a loser. You're a loser.
Governed by power. These are the iron laws of the world that have existed since the beginning of time.
But in terms of day-to-day operations in Venezuela, that is acting President Rodriguez, right? It's not some sort of American emissary.
No, what I'm saying is, we'll keep going here, Jake. So I want to say what I'm saying, and you'll follow up. But what I'm saying is just one level above that, which is that, by definition, we are in charge, because we have the United States military stationed outside the country. We set the terms and conditions. We have a complete embargo on all of their oil and their ability to do commerce. So for them to do commerce, they need our permission. For them to be able to run an economy, they need our permission. So the United States is in charge. The United States is running.
Wow, that's so sick. I watched this from my rental apartment, my rented out apartment that is in a state of disrepair. I called the landlord to put the fucking heat on because the heater broke, and he came over and he painted over it with white. Obviously, that didn't fix it. Also, my contract is about to be up and my rent is going to increase. But when I hear Stephen Miller say this stuff, I feel powerful all of a sudden, right? I feel like I do have power. Why? Because somewhere out there, there's a Venezuelan that's getting dominated, right, by the American military, and things are good for a brief moment. I close my eyes and I think, well, at least the American military is making sure that the petrodollar is strong. Like, do you understand how stupid this is? They are not even trying to bring you into the equation. If you are watching this from afar and you're trying to find some way of looking at what Stephen Miller is saying and go, yeah, based, you don't have to do that. You don't have to entertain this stuff on partisan lines. You don't have to sit there and feel like you are mighty and powerful because the American military went out there so that Exxon and Chevron can turn even higher profit margins in the upcoming couple of years, okay? This is not for you. And every moment that they spend trying to make this something for you is a moment that you're being duped. From our friends over at Fox News.
You have to take action on that. Let's just cut to the chase. Here's what Democrats really are about. They actually like dictators. Think about Obama and his embrace of the Castros. Think about Joe Biden, his embrace of the mullahs. Remember the pallets of cash that they were sending off? In fact, even crazy Bernie Sanders.
I think there's something really funny about this statement because, like, American foreign policy is bipartisan. And yeah, we do love dictators, except it's not what he's referencing. That's so funny to say that. Like, you're Donald Trump's guy. Who on this planet has unironically kissed the asses of more like non-aligned nation state leadership other than like, you know, the appropriate ones like the Saudis and whatnot, right? It's pretty funny because like it's some of the more redeemable qualities of Donald Trump that he just like genuinely sucks off Xi Jinping, Kim Jong-un. Like he thinks they're cool. Ew, who is this meatball with glasses? Hassan Piker? That's crazy. Hassan on me. That's
went on his honeymoon to the USSR before even the curtain fell. He went to the
This is Jason Miller. He famously unsuccessfully sued friend of the show, Will Menaker, back in the day, by the way.
USSR. Democrats love dictators. In fact, they love dictators so much, they copy their tactics. Think what Obama did to President Trump.
Come on, dude. Please, do you fucking hear yourself? Brother, I'm not in the game of being like America is the holiest nation on the planet and it's a bastion of liberal democracy versus all of our foreign adversaries are major dictators and all this shit. But like between contemporary presidencies, who's closest to the way that we have presented all of our foreign adversaries of being like bloodless authoritarian tyrants? Who? Donald Trump or Joe Biden and Barack Obama? Come on, dude. This doesn't even meet the standard of like things that people can see with their own eyes, regardless of how little education they have. Come on, dude. Who is closer? Who is closer to, I wonder, out of the last couple of presidencies, who has actually deployed the military at the domestic level over and over again and significantly rolled back First Amendment protections, okay? And Biden did that for Israel too, but Donald Trump literally was trying to actively deport people. Who has decided to ship off people, random neighbors, to a slave labor prison in El Salvador? Get the out of here. Even down to silly like Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel is the most vanilla guy out there. And Donald Trump was trying to utilize the licensing board to take him off the air. It's so crazy. It's like from the silliest shit all the way to the most fucked up stuff. Who is closer to like a Russian style authoritarian dictatorship out of the last three presidents? Please.
With tapping the phones. Think what Joe Biden did with weaponizing his DOJ against President Trump. Yeah. The Democrats act like dictators themselves. That's why they're upset. No.
Dude, come on. Donald Trump, dude, come on. Barack Obama weaponized the DOJ, or Barack Obama weaponized the FBI, and Joe Biden weaponized the DOJ. Are you serious? Donald Trump literally replaced attorneys general because he was like, you're not doing it for me. You're not prosecuting these people hard enough. You're not prosecuting my enemies hard enough. And we don't even have to speculate on this because he literally said it in what we all now know was supposed to be a private DM that he accidentally leaked to Attorney General Pam Bondi. He was like, enough, make haste, start prosecuting and arresting people. That's why it's so funny when like Alex Jones talks about, black helicopters, attack helicopters coming in and putting us inside of FEMA facilities. That's right, it's happening. They're black backing people from the streets. And also the satanic pedophilic cult is doing this at the behest of the great Satan. And then you literally have Trump doing it. And we joke about him all the time, joke about Alex Jones all the time, because Trump is actually doing the things that Alex Jones said for years all of these other presidents would do, from George W. Bush to Barack Obama to Joe Biden. And now Trump is actually doing it. And he can't even call it out because he is a regime guy.
You have seized Venezuela for the oil. Yes, this is true, that there is that which has been brought to the forefront of this.
What the Bro, we are not a real country, dude. Come on. Oh, you have delivered the oil for us. The oil that was sent by God. Our oil. Amera oil. Someone said Valutain. He do be looking like Patrick Bet-David.
This earthly battle. But the enemy has sought and was seeking to bring war and to bring conflict through Venezuela and to control the oil of the earth.
What?
But the spiritual oil and the natural oil does not belong to the forces of darkness or to those who thought that they could bring a one world order. This is my reset. And the oil of the natural and the oil of the spirit is mine, says the Lord.
Hell yeah, dude. This guy's awesome. Also, I fucking love the French cuff. Like the French, like the whatever is going on with these cuffs here is fantastic. Why is it so long?
Is it necessary?
Why is it cuffed over the suit jacket? It's so fire. This guy's awesome. I would give him all my money.
Yes.
His collar is starched to hell and back. Excuse me. You mean to heck and back? Fire Hugo post about Vuvuzela. Bro, this is like a day late, $1 short. We've already made this joke a million times. Like, no disrespect to Hugo, but he's running on that Albanian internet. God, what a fucking awesome country we live in. MAGA cultist Hank Kuhneman purports to speak to God for declaring the U.S. captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, the work of the oil of my spirit. Yeah, and then we're going to move on to Cuba, like another country that we have destroyed, okay?
Have done it. And as to this commander-in-chief, he did something people talked about doing. You just wait for Cuba.
Like, this guy is salivating, dude. Salivating.
Cuba is a communist dictatorship that's killed priests and nuns. They've preyed on their own people. Their days are numbered. We're going to wake up one day, I hope in 26, in our backyard, we're going to have allies in these countries doing business with America, not narco-terrorist dictators killing Americans. This is a big frigging day. And everybody in the world is thinking differently than they were just a few days ago because of what you did.
They're doing a sin eater thing with Trump now where they know he's cooked and checked out anyway. So they're just all going to ram through everything on the neocon wish list that's considered too politically disastrous for anyone else to touch. Social Security will be torched by August. The Greenland thing is all him, though. It's definitely making everything worse the more he talks about it. So there must be genuinely no way to stop him.
You take down the source of the problem. President Trump didn't wake up one day and say, hey, let's take Venezuela. He did what other people talked about, but didn't have the balls or the guts to do it. This is a good thing. This is not interventionism. This is making America safer. We're going to be more.
I don't even know why he's trying to argue against interventionism. Everybody knows him as Mr. Intervention. Like every Republican knows him as Mr. Interventionism. So whenever he actually talks in promotion of Donald Trump, I feel like everybody, even Republicans, are like, ugh, gross.
Prosperous because of the business deals. There are going to be Americans alive today because he shut down a narco-terrorist state called Venezuela. This is a good thing, not a bad thing.
And the oil companies are going to go in and rebuild their system. They're going to spend billions of dollars, and they're going to take the oil out of the ground, and we're taking back what they stole. Remember, they stole our property. It was the greatest theft in the history of America. Nobody has ever stolen our property like they have. They took our oil away from us. They took the infrastructure away. And all that infrastructure is rotted and decayed. And the oil companies are going to go in and rebuild it. We're not going to spend very much money at all, if anything. But the oil companies are going to go, we're going to take our oil back. But we're going to all...
Can you remind me of the lore that makes Trump think Venezuela stole our oil? Oh, it's because they took over the refineries. They had contracts for Western capital to refine the oil, and they basically said like, no, we want to take another look at the expropriation initiatives. We want to take another look at full blown nationalization. It was already controlled. Like there was still some mechanism of control with the government owned petroleum company, and that's it. Waters, they have to stop doing business with our enemies. They have to give us back our oil rights, which they stole. It's basically the Spanish Saudi Arabia. It makes us the seller of oil to China.
What does behaving look like? That's the big question. They have to stop doing business with our enemies, the cartels, the communists, and Hezbollah. They have to stop pouring narcotics and migrants into our country, and they have to give us back our oil rights, which they stole. And judges have agreed these have been.
Look, I'm not going to say what America deserves, but like, just try to put yourself in the shoes of someone not living in the United States of America for a minute. You know what I mean? Try to put yourself in the shoes of like someone living in Venezuela, for example, and not like the ones in Uruguay or Doral celebrating this stuff. Okay, just think like you're hearing this. They bombed your capital. Maybe you weren't the biggest fan of your leader, but they kidnapped him. They killed a bunch of people in the process. And now this is the way they're talking about you. Because, like, this is a country with 30 million people, right? More than 30 million. Like, we are so cocky in the way that we talk about our desires. It's just, like, there's no shame whatsoever. It blows my fucking mind that this dipshit has the audacity to speak like this about a whole ass country.
Stolen from us. So if you have it's basically like the Spanish Saudi Arabia. They have more oil under the ground than the Saudis do. So you get the Western companies back in there, you get it back online, and what does that do? It makes Venezuela more prosperous, America more prosperous, keeps energy prices low, which starves the Putin war machine, keeps inflation down, which is good for the economy, and it isolates the Iranians, and it makes us the seller of oil to China.
It's just, I don't know. It's just such poor taste. I don't know how else to describe it. We're so disgusting. We're so monstrous. We're such a cancerous force on the planet. And people look at this imposture as though they have a piece of the pie. Like they act as though this is good. Yeah, we started off at stopping fentanyl trafficking, and now we've moved on very openly to we just want oil. We want the oil. It's our oil. They stole it from us. It's my oil. Me, 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 me. All right, we've seen all the highlights on this.
Joining me now is Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Thank you so much for being here. I want to start with this big picture question. Is the United States now at war with Venezuela?
There's not a war. I mean, we are at war against drug trafficking organizations. It's not a war against Venezuela. We are enforcing American laws with regards to oil sanctions. We have sanctioned entities. We go to court. We get a warrant. We seize those boats with oil, and that will continue. We would continue to reserve the right to take strikes against drug boats that are bringing drugs towards the United States that are being operated by transnational criminal organizations, including the Cartel de los Sols. Of course, the leader of that cartel is now in U.S. custody and facing U.S. justice in the Southern District of New York.
Yeah, U.S. justice.
Nicolas Maduro. So we made a big progress in that regard.
So is it you? Is it Secretary Hegseth? Who are those people who will be running the country specifically?
Well, it's not running, it's running policy. The policy with regards to this. We want Venezuela to move in a certain direction because not only do we think it's good for the people of Venezuela, it's in our national interest. It either touches on something that's a threat to our national security or touches on something that's either beneficial or harmful.
And are you involved in that transition,
and so obviously
Secretary?
I'm very involved in this. Well, of course. I mean, I think everyone knows I'm pretty involved on politics in this hemisphere. Obviously, as Secretary of State and National Security Advisor, very involved in all these.
I'm going to give you guys some deep lore here, by the way. And this is the same for Marco Rubio as it was for many other Cuban-American politicians for some weird reason. But so many Cuban-American politicians in the country will claim they hate communism and Fidel Castro and stuff. They'll be like, oh, Fidel Castro like stole my parents' property and whatever. Almost all of them, including Marco Rubio, came into the United States of America escaping Batista. And their family members have actually gone back to Cuba after the Cuban Revolution. So they're actually just lying. It's one of the strangest things. There are a ton, obviously, like, Cubans now is different, right? Because it's been so long. But so many Cuban Americans, their parents actually fled Cuba before the revolution. They actually fled Cuba during the Batista regime. Isn't that crazy? And then they've spent their entire lives railing against the group that actually liberated Cuba. It's a fascinating phenomenon. Ted Cruz has done that as well. Here.
Look, my father was imprisoned and tortured in Cuba. I hate communists. It was actually Batista that tortured my dad.
Fulgencio Batista was...
Yep, Ted Cruz's dad too. Bob Menendez, that's another one. Bob Menendez, when he was caught with gold bars, was asked why he had gold bars, and his defense for it was, oh, well, when my family fled the Castro regime in Cuba, we learned that we have to put like a lot of our wealth in gold bars so we can like actually, take our assets out of the country. His family did not flee under the Castro revolution. His family actually fled under Batista.